Magandang hapon po. Wala ako ngayon sa opisina. Dami kong labada eh, tsaka plantsahin. Anyway, I'm here at home. I'm here at home trying to make the best of my situation. Alright, paalala ko lang habang hinihintay natin yung iba. Excuse me. Let me remind everyone, by the end of the day, we're going to have around 300,000 cases already. Up from only one, January 30. Isa lang January 30. At the end of the day today, 300,000 na. Ingat. In my case, nagpakabit na ako dito sa bahay ng cable kasi araw-araw pumupunta ako ng UP and I meet so many people. Tumataas yung chances na magka-COVID ako eh. Matanda na ako, delikado. Marami pa ako utang na babayaran. Alright. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. First things first, attendance muna. Attendance tayo. Okay, let me share my screen. Ako, hopefully maayos yung pag-share ko ng screen na hindi na nawawala-wala kagaya dati. Alright. So, let's check our attendance. May inihanda ba ako? Yan, may inihanda akong attendance. Okay, there you see it. I'm posting it. It will be posted on your Google Classroom Philosophy of Science. Okay? Yan, attendance. So, paki-fill out na ha. Yan. And in addition dyan, ano bang mga dapat natin gawin? Ay, ano ba ang topic natin ngayon? Alright? What's our topic now? Well, topic for today, para maliwanag ha, topic for today, day 5. Well, still, history of science. Alright? Part 2. Okay, important yan. Napaka-importante ng history of science doon sa nature ng science and limits of science. Alright, part 2. We'll be talking about the advent of industrial revolution. Yeah. Okay. So, saka ako nadagdagan ng slides. I'll give you slides so that you can review later on. But meanwhile, Mentimeter ulit tayo ha. Tingnan ako, baka meron kayong complaints. Pag may complaints kayo, huwag kayong mahihiyang mag-complain ha. Lagay nyo lang dito sa chat natin. By this time, nakita ko na yung results ng survey. So I'm happy that many of you ay hindi nahihiya na masama sa live YouTube at saka live StreamYard to be seen by everybody from North Pole to South Pole. Very good. Kasi pag may live, then you can call my attention pagka nagkakamali ako dun sa ating mga pinag-uusapan. Kasi hindi naman ako perfecto eh. Alright, marami rin akong pagkakamali. Okay? Meanwhile, punta tayo sa Mentimeter. Alright? Magme-Mentimeter tayo ha. Nasaan yung Mentimeter natin ito? Let's post it. Yun. Okay, there's the link. I have just posted it. Alright? Check the link. Okay, check the link. And now, let me do the presentation. Okay? Alright. Unang slide. Alright. Ano yung unang slide natin? Okay, balik tayo ha. Three words that indicate modern thought. Okay. Magbigay nga kayo. Hopefully may lalabas na ano, na okay. Nandyan ba yung instruction? Can you read it? You're supposed to post 3 words. Yan, very good. Method, facts, science. Uy, scientific method. Uy, very good. Experimenting. Yan, masaya. Okay. Yan. Scientific method. Very dominant. Ano? Scientific method. Pinag-usapan din natin yan last time, di ba? Yan. Experimenting, technology. Okay. Magaling, ha? Very good. Okay. Scientific method, science. Well, science, yeah. Science, kasama ng lahat. Scientific method, empiricism, technology, or that. Heliocentrism. So, importante yan. Okay. Okay. Wala na ba? Meron bang hahabol? Yung iba, kung hindi kayo mag-participate, okay lang. Alright? Yung iba, kung hindi kayo mag-participate, okay lang. Kasi baka naman nagtitipid kayo ng data. Walang masama dyan. Alright? We have a good. Meron naman tayong magandang, ano bang tawag dyan? Magandang sample. Yan. Okay. Next slide tayo, ha? Next slide. May hahabol pa ba? Oh, may humahabol pa. Sige na nga. Habulin natin. Okay, 3 words. Nagkamali ako eh. Yung yatang nailagay ko earlier eh, 2 words lang eh. Pero sabi ko 3 words eh. Habulin nyo nga, 3 words. Ayan ha, pinataas ko ulit, 3 words. Sige nga. Yung mga hindi nakapaglagay ng 3 words lahat-lahat, ihabol niyo. Okay, babalikan natin yan ha. Next. Next tayo ha, balik tayo dyan. Next. Ito. Philippine intellectuals are genuinely into modern thought. Yes, no? Yes, but not all. Yes, but only insignificant number of them. Oh. Uy. Yes, but not all. Okay. Yes, but not all. Yes, but not all. Uy, yung iba, naghahabol pa kasi dun sa ano eh. Tingnan ko nga kung meron tayong mga complaints. Sorry ha, may monitor ako sa tabi ko eh. Tingnan ko kung meron tayong. Okay. 10. Yes, but not all. Yes, but only insignificant. Uy, talaga naman, no? Meron na namang outlier. 2. Yes. Alright. Yes na yes yung isa. Okay. Ito, yes, pero medyo lang. Ito, yes, but not all. Hindi natin masabi kung how many. Wala nagsasabi ng no. Hindi na nga. Pag pumupunta ba kayo sa mga bookstore, nakikita nyo yung Filipiniana section? Palagay ninyo, ilang percent ng Filipiniana section ang nakikita nyo about science? Mamaya tatanungin ko kayo dyan. Okay, next slide. Konti lang to. 3 lang slides yata ang ginawa ko dito. UP students are generally into modern thought. Ay, mali ang spelling, nakakahiya. Pakisagot, aking aayusin yung spelling ha, para hindi naman nakakaya sa inyo. Into modern thought. Okay. Nasaan na yun? Yan. Sige nga, sagot. Ayan. Yes, but not all. Walang gusto magsabi na yes, but only in significant number. Well, sa totoo lang, marami talaga tayong mga bata sa university who are into science. Ang dami dyan, College of Engineering, o ang dami dyan, College of Science, alright? Yes. Sa mga tuwid, alright, nare-realize natin, iba ang UP compared sa Pilipinas. Alright? Kasi ang sagot ninyo last time, di ba? Ang mga Pilipino at large ay wala sa science walang modern thinking. Mga Pilipino at large wala sa modern thinking. Pero kayo, sinasabi ninyo, ang UP ay nandyan, may modern thought mode. So, yan ang magiging problema ninyo. Okay, next. Habol yung iba, din In a word or two at the most, what do you think is needed by Philippine society today so that it advances to have a modern mental model? Oh, anong tingin ninyo? Well, teka, balik ako din baka naman. Okay, habol kayo yung hindi makahabol, okay lang, not bad. We have a good sample. 15 out of 20. O, din Alright, we need science, we need rational, secularism. Oh, talaga naman, no? May jablo din kagaya ko. Secularism. Alright? Rationality, secularization, yes. Education, government, better government, yes. Logic. Oh, syempre, logic. Free education, yep. Ang maternal grandfather ko nagtayo na school, 1928. Ang aking paternal grandmother nagtayo na school, 1940. Pareho silang malaki na ngayon. Yung isa sa Quezon, yung isa sa Batangas. Board member ako ng dalawa na yan. At proud to tell you, ang aming eskwelahan ay hindi for profit. Yung isang eskwelahan dyan, meron akong stocks na more than 2 million pesos worth. Pero ang aking kinikita lamang, every year 7,000 pesos. 2 million, 7,000. Kalokohan, di ba? Okay, let's keep it coming. Rationality, open-mindedness, critical thinking. Yang mga yan, pag-uusapan natin yung part of history of science. Naku, napaka-importante. Kung wala yung open-mindedness, malaking disgrasya. Alright? Kaya tayo nagtatanong niyan Rationality. Wow! Big name. Okay, big word. Okay, balik tayo sa usapan natin. Babalikan natin yan By the way, pag na-download ko na lahat yung mga yan, hindi ko pa na-download kasi medyo nag-organize pa ako. Papadala ko sa inyo lahat yung mga results ng mga yan And then you keep them with you and then when you're old, you go back to them every once in a while. Pero sa ngayon, punta muna tayo din Alright? Saan? Din sa ating Google Classroom. Ano ang topic natin for today? Ang sabi ko nga for today, anong topic natin ito? History of Science, Advent of Industrial Revolution. Okay, History of Science. Natapos tayo, sinabi natin, doon sa huling usapan, if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong across time, alright, from T's of 0 to T's of N, ano nangyari? Well, na-invento 600 years BC yung philosophy. Alright? Tapos, around 400 years AD, Saan? Sa west? Saan yung west? Kasi nahati yung mundo sa Europe, sa west, 400 AD, nawala ang philosophy. Doon sa east naman, nagpatuloy, pero nagbago ang takbo ng panahon ng Islamic Empire. Alright, around 600 years AD. Alright? Ito, 400 years AD. 400 years AD, ano nangyari? Bumagsak ang Rome. Saan? Sa west. Iniwanan kasi ni Constantine. Alright, ano nangyari? Well, ito. Nagkaroon ng Dark Ages from here. Alright? Dark Ages from here up to the year 1000. Bakit? 1000, remember, napagkwentuhan natin, nagkaroon ng Crusades. Alright? Crusades. The year 1000, the end of the world, di ba? So, nung nagkaroon ng Crusades, kailan yan? The year 1000, nagkaroon ng opportunity to see what? To see the progress of the civilization here. Turns out, highly civilized yung mga Muslim. And so, yung civilization ay nagsimulang pumunta ng Europe. Itong period na ito, ang tawag natin dyan, Middle Ages. Alright? Tawagin natin Middle Ages. Alright, Middle Ages. Alright? Now, yung Middle Ages, nagkaroon ng nagsimulang pagbabago sa Europe. Ano yung unang pagbabago sa Europe? Una, nagkaroon ng economic independence. Remember? Nagbagong economy, nawala yung monopoly ng nawala yung monopoly ng simbahan. Nagkaroon ng traders, meron ng kumikita independent of the feudal system. Ano pa? Nagkaroon ng liberalism, ergo liberal education. Kasi nalaman na nila, pwede palang sibilisado ang mga tao kahit sila ay hindi Kristiyano. Ano pa? Nagkaroon ng rise of nationalism. Bakit? Kasi nag-agawan ng trade. Nung nag-agawan ng trade, ano nangyari? Nung nag-agawan ng trade, nag-away-away, and then yung pag-aaway-away na highlight ang pagkakaiba ng nationalities. Sila mga French-speaking, kami mga Italian-speaking, sila mga English-speaking, na highlight ang pagkakaiba along linguistic differences, therefore along nationalities. So, nagkaroon ng rise of nationalism. Ano pa? Yung isa pang pangyayari kasi di ba anong nangyari with rise of nationalism, nag-away-away, nagpatayan, naghanap sila ng alternative trade routes. Therefore, na-discover yung new worlds. Alright? And when you have knowledge from the new worlds, ano yung new worlds? Yung America, Pacific, Philippines, China, Japan, etc., Portuguese, East Indies, etc. With knowledge from the new worlds, ano nakita? Nakita yung compass. Ano nakita? Nakita yung gunpowder and rockets that fly into the sky. Ano pa yung nakita? Yung steer up. Alright? Yung steer up, importante yun. Bakit? Teka, baka namimiss nyo na ako paliwanag ko yung steer up ha. Pagka kayo ay sakay sa kabayo, kagaya ni Alexander the Great, walang steer up, ang itsura nyo doon sa kabayo, ganito. Kasi walang balan. Mahirap maging sundalo. Pero kung kayo may steer up, ano yung steer up? Yung steer up yung on two sides of the horse, merong dalawang metal thing na kung saan nyo isusuot yung paa nyo. Alright? So kung ito yung steer up, susuot nyo yung paa nyo dyan. So may dalawa. Pag ang paa mo nakalagay doon sa steer up, then may balanse ka. Pag sakay ka sa kabayo, may balanse ka, you can use your bow and arrow, shoot anyone. Kahit na ikaw babae, buntis, you can still be a good soldier with your steer up kasi highly balanced ka Yung stir up, wala sa Bible. Alright? You see, in the ancient times, ano sabi nila, kung natatandaan nyo, lahat ng kailangan sa mundo nandyan sa Bible. Walang compass sa Bible, walang rocket that fly into the sky sa Bible, walang stir up. Ano pa? Ano pa yung nakita natin dun sa New Worlds? Yung kalendaryo ng mga Aztecs, wala dun. Very accurate. Ang kalendaryo ng mga Aztecs, merong leap year. And so on and so forth. So, with the discovery of the New Worlds, yan yung sinasabi natin, with the discovery of the New Worlds, ito, na-question yung paniwala na lahat ng bagay nakukuha sa Bible. And all told, inevitably, ano nangyari? Inevitably, ang nangyari, kung sa simula across time, kung i-graph natin, kung sa simula across time ay mataas na mataas ang paniwala sa simbahan, magmula nung nagkaroon ng economic independence yung mga traders, tapos nagkaroon ng liberal education, hindi pa pala ako naisama kanina, nagkaroon ng alternative centers of culture, di ba? Tapos nagkaroon ng rise of nationalism, tapos nagkaroon ng discovery of new worlds, bumaba ang paniwala sa simbahan. Yung paniwala sa church, naku-question nadagdagan pa, galing sa China, may nadalang technology. Ano yung technology? Printing press. Sa China kasi, uso yung movable type ng printing press. Kaya lang, ang ginagamit sa China, hardwood. Yung hardwood, wala namang hardwood sa Europe. So, ang ginawa nila sa Europe, yung hardwood, pinalta ng ng alloy. At nung nagkaroon ng printing press na gumagamit ng alloy, therefore modern printing press, na-print ang Bible. Nung na-print ang Bible, na-audit ang simbahan. Bakit? Kasi marami palang leaders ang simbahan na kung ano-anong sinasabi, wala sa Bible, at kung ano-anong iniimbento. Kaso, yung mga pangkaraniwang tao, may Bible na. O di na-audit sila, sasabihin ng mga tao, Padre, sinungaling ka naman siguro ikaw nagmamadyong ka gawi. Yung sinasabi mong galing sa Bible, binasa ko, may Bible din ako wala naman So, all told, ano nangyari? Bumaba ang paniwala sa simbahan. Yun ang sinasabi natin. At pagbaba ng paniwala sa simbahan, remember, nabanggit ko, although kanina nakalimutan kong banggitin, kaya ngayon isisingit natin. Nabanggit ko na na merong alternative centers of culture, di ba? Alternative centers of culture. Ano example ko? Vienna, ano pa? Venice, ano pa? Avignon. Alright, alternative centers of culture. Alternative to Rome. Dumami. Ang tawag nga dyan, Renaissance cities. Yung alternative centers of culture na yan, later on, by this time, alright, by around 1300 years, hindi pala, sorry. By around 1200 years AD, yung alternative centers of culture na yan, marami dyan, mas mayaman pa sa city of Rome, sentro ng simbahan. Alright? So, ano nangyari? Okay, noong una, ang mayaman lang yung simbahan Noong una, ang may kultura lang talaga, may sibilisasyon lang talaga, Rome. Alright? Rome lamang ang siga pagdating sa kultura. Pero yung Rome ay na eclipse by such cities as Florence. Eclipsed by such cities as what? Venice. Alright? Eclipsed by such cities as Avignon in France. Alright? Avignon in France. Such cities as Vienna in Austria. Alright? And of course, London in England, although ang London poor relative. So, etong mga cities na ito, dahil meron tamang education, merong trade, merong liberalism, nag-flourish, especially Florence and Venice and Avignon and Vienna. London, medyo nahuli pa yan. Alright? So, etong mga cities na ito, tinanong, bakit itong mga cities na ito ay highly progressive? Ang sagot, sabi nila, kasi, alright, ano yung tanong? How is it that these cities have progressed? What's the secret of the progress? And ang sagot, dahil sa dinala nila pabalik yung ancient knowledge. Ancient knowledge na nakuha nila sa Islamic Empire, sa Middle East. Alright? Ergo, the expression Renaissance. Bakit? Kasi yung Renaissance, in other words, literally meaning to say rebirth, ay refers to rebirth of interest in, let me repeat that, Renaissance, rebirth, in other words, renewed interest in ancient Greek thought. Alright, renewed interest in ancient Greek thought. Yun ang nangyari. Alright, ancient Greek thought. Halimbawa, sino nagka-interest sa ancient Greek thought? Di si Da Vinci o naging idol ni Da Vinci sino? Si Archimedes, inventor. Sino pa? Si Machiavelli. Nagkaroon ng interest sa politics at nakita na yung political thinking ng mga ancient Greeks. Naging idolo niya, sino? Si Aristotle. Sino pa? Yung mga Roman writers, mga Stoics, binasa niya ang kanilang history of the city of Rome, and so on and so forth. Actually, ito si Da Vinci at saka si Machiavelli ay Renaissance thinker. Alright? Da Vinci and Machiavelli, hindi sila modern thinker, Renaissance lang sila. Now, tanong, ano ang pagkakaiba ng ancient Greek thought sa, tawagin natin ngayon, Renaissance thought? Ano ang pagkakaiba ng ancient Greek thought sa Renaissance thought? Well, let me highlight first the sameness. Paano sila nagkapareho? Alright. Ang Renaissance thought at saka ancient Greek thought, alright, ancient Greek thought, ay pareho na naniniwala na men can have control over their destinies independent of the gods and the deities, dependent on their capacity to reason. You see, kakaparon at parito, papunta at pabalik ng mga traders papunta ng Middle East, dumating ang panahon na yung mga libro na sinunog sa Europe, libro na sinulat ni Plato, sinulat ni Pythagoras, sinulat ni Aristotle, nagkaroon ng kopya na balik doon sa Europe. At doon sa Europe nga, yung mga traders, tuwan-tuwa sila sa bagong rediscovery nila ng mga iniisip ng mga Greeks. Na siya naman palang foundation nung progress doon sa Middle East. Alright? So, ang ancient Greek thought, actually, essentially, walang pinagkaiba sa Renaissance thought. Ulitin ko. Ang ancient Greek thought, essentially, walang pinagkaiba. Bakit? Kasi pareho na hina-highlight yung sinabi natin. Ano yun? Foundation ng Western civilization. Men can have control over their destinies independent of the gods and the deities, dependent on their capacity to reason. Alright? Men can have, etc. You know what I'm talking about. Alright? Yung ancient Greek thought, kapareho lang ng paniwala at saka Renaissance. Alright? Ang pinagkaiba lang ng Renaissance is the time. Kasi ancient Greeks, ay panahon ng ancient Greece. Pero yung Renaissance, nagsimula yan around the 1200s. So ito, essentially, in terms of principles, pareho. Kaya pag tiningnan nyo ang mga sculptures ng mga Renaissance artists, ay halos walang pinagkaiba sa sculptures ng mga ancient Greeks. Ano? Bastos. Nagbibiro lang ako Makikita ninyo, ang inspiration ng mga Renaissance artists ay siyempre yung mga ancient Greeks. Alright? So nagkaroon ng renewed interest. Sino halimbawa? Si Da Vinci, naging inventor na siya, parang si Archimedes, at saka sino? Si Machiavelli, naging parang si Aristotle na mahilig sa political thought, political thinking. All right. Now, may nangyari. Ano ang nangyari? Okay. Drawing ulit tayo. Hindi, dito na lang. Dito na lang. Ano nga ang sabi natin? Ang sabi natin, around the 1200s, alright, nagkaroon ng Renaissance cities. By the way, let me clarify. Kung ito ang Europe, yung Renaissance cities, in other words, urban centers, ay around 10% lang. So, Renaissance thinking, let me highlight that, very important. Renaissance thinking happened only in around 10% of Europe, which is the urban 10% of Europe. Kasi 90% of Europe ay more or less 90% of Europe ay still under the church. Yung simbahan malakas pa rin. So 90% still under the church. So what does that mean? From the year 400 years AD, all right, to the year 1200 years AD, nandyan pa rin yung simbahan. Alright, nandyan pa rin yung simbahan. Tapos, from 1200 years AD na meron tayong, ano nga sabi natin, meron tayong Renaissance, nagpatuloy yan hanggang 1500s. Dito. Yung 1500s, nagbago na ang panahon. Yung 1500s, nagbago na ang panahon. Okay? Yung Renaissance period, maiksi lang yan Ito lang. Now, ito yung catch. Kaya medyo komplikado yung situation Ang catch is from 400 years AD to the 1500s, meron tayong matatawag na medieval thought. Kahit na nagkaroon ng Renaissance, 10% lang yan Alright? Kahit na may Renaissance, 10% lang yan. For the most part, medieval thinking ang namalagi, especially in the rural areas, alright? Medieval thought. Medieval thought. Ano ang highlight ng medieval thought? Well, yung medieval thought, kagaya nung nabanggit kanina ng iba, kailangan natin ay secularism. Yung medieval thought, sinasabi noong medieval times, ay only God has control over our destinies. Our lives are in the hands of God. And in fact, sabi nila, only men assigned by God can rule, no democracy. So, sino yung men na yan? Mga kamag-anak ni Charlemagne, kinuwento ko sa inyo. Charlemagne, Carolingian dynasty, inimbento ng simbahan. Sabi nila, Si Charlemagne, apo ng apo ng apo ng apo ni Kristo, na siya namang apo ng apo ng apo ni King David and King Solomon. Ayun, ang takbo ng usapan. Kaya ang pwede lang magpatakbo ng mga bayan ng buong medieval times ay yung mga apo ng apo ng apo ng apo ng apo ni Kristo, na apo ng apo ng apo ng apo ni Charlemagne, Carolingian Dynasty, the monarchs. So, right? Invention ng Catholic Church. Yung buong panahon na yan, medieval times. Kailan? From 400 years AD, ito nga, alright? From 400 years AD dito, alright, to 1500 years AD hanggang dito. Kung may Renaissance man, nako, ang late-late. Yung Renaissance dito lang, kaunti. Alright? Sangkurot. Alright? So far, so good. Tingnan ko lang yung inyong mga comments, ha? Okay, magandang hapon po. Wala pa namang complaint so far. Okay. So far, so good. Okay, so balik tayo din ngayon sa ating usapan. Renaissance thinking. Kapareho ng Greeks, men can have control over their destinies independent of the gods and the deities, dependent only on their capacity to reason. So, may dalawang klase ng tao. Taong naniniwala sa ancient Greek thought, at saka taong naniniwala saan? Sa medieval thought. Alright? Mukhang tatlo. Bakit? Kasi may Renaissance. Pero actually, yung Renaissance, hindi kahiwalay ng ancient Greek. Bakit? Pareho lang sila ng paniwala eh. Alright? Rebirth nga eh. So ito, pareho lang to. Check, check. Pareho lang yan eh. Alright? Ang Renaissance thinker ay critical. Okay? Critical of medieval thinkers. At kung buhay ang mga Greek thinkers, they would have been critical of medieval thinkers. Pero dito na iba yung modern thinkers. Alright, sino ang modern natin? Si Galileo, that's one. Mamaya, kwento ko yan, ha? Si Galileo. Sino pa isa? Francis Bacon, that's another. Kwento ko to. Francis Bacon. Alright? Itong dalawa na ito, sila critical din. Critical of what? Critical, of course, of the medieval thinkers. Very good. Alright? Critical sila ng medieval thinkers. But in addition, sila ay critical din of the Greeks. And that significantly makes them different. Alright? Yung Renaissance thinker, critical. Halimbawa, sino Renaissance thinker? Si Leonardo da Vinci. Sino pa? Si Niccolo Machiavelli. Silang dalawa ay very critical of medieval thinkers. Yung mga pare. Kasi sinasabi nila, men cannot have control over their destinies. Anong importante? The afterlife. Ano importante? The Bible. And everything can be, all important knowledge comes from the Bible. Yun ang sinasabi ng medieval thinkers. Pero yung Renaissance thinkers, hindi na ganun mag-isip kasi nabasa na nila sina Pythagoras, sina Aristotle, sina Plato, at kung sino-sino. So, nung nabasa nila yon, sabi nila, mali kayong mga pare. Well, let me tell you, pagpasok ng 1500s, panahon ni na Galileo, nagbagong usapan. Kasi by the 1500s, while sina Galileo ay tuwan-tuwa na matutunan yung ancient Greeks, natuwa rin sila dyan. Pero they were at the same time critical of the ancient Greeks. Yun ang pagkakaiba. Ang Renaissance thinkers, they were only critical of medieval thinkers. They were never critical of the ancient Greeks. Makes Galileo and Francis Bacon different. Alright? Nung panahon nila, hindi sila ganun kasikat. In fact, in the case of Galileo, nakulong pa yan. Alright? So, Ano nangyari? Well, ganito. Focus your attention on Galileo. Focus your attention on Galileo. Si Galileo lived in Florence, one of the alternative cities to Rome. Florence, in the time of Galileo, was much more progressive than Rome. He was a professor, first of the arts, art professor siya, later of mathematics. Bakit? Kasi yung application ng mathematics sa art ay nakita niya. Alright? Now, si Galileo, geek. Geek. Now, remember, ang nangyari after the Crusades, yung mga traders, kung ano-anong dinadala galing sa East. One of the products na very popular na dinadala ng traders from China ay pairs of lenses. Pairs of lenses. Alright? If you have two pairs of glass lenses, anong mangyayari? E di meron kang maliit na bagay, say a tree, from afar, pag nakita mo sa iyong mga mata, alright, kunyari ito ikaw, paano ba i-drawing yung mata ninyo? Kunyari lang mata. Yan ang mata mo, itong ilong mo, yan. Yan ang bibig mo, yan. Alright? Can you see that? Pag meron kang pairs of lenses, yung malayo, pwede mo makita malapit. Alright? Tuwan-tuwa si Galileo, wow man, ang galing nito. The geek that Galileo was, ang ginawa niya, yung lenses, nilagay niya sa tube. Ergo, the invention of the ano bang tawag dyan? The invention of the refractor telescope. Yan. Na-invento ni Galileo yung telescope. Okay? Bakit importante yan? Well, ganito kasi nangyari. Alright, si Galileo, geek nga, di ba? At professor, may access sa library. Sa library, meron siyang binabasa na libro. Kaninong libro? Alright, sino pinag-uusapan? Si Galileo. Kaninong libro? Libro ni... okay, sandali ha. Sulat natin. Galileo. Kaninong libro? Alright. Question. Sino nga yung nagsabi, the Earth is not the center of the universe? Si Copernicus. Hindi pala. The Earth is not the center of the solar system. Yung libro ni Copernicus, pinablish yan after namatay siya kasi natatakot siyang i-publish habang buhay pa siya. Sabi ni Copernicus, the Earth cannot be the center of the solar system. Alright? Yun yung importante. Now, paliwanag ko ba't importante? Copernicus, ha? Alright. Sabi ni Copernicus, malabo that the Earth is the center of the solar system and possibly cannot be the center, therefore, of the universe. Galit dyan ang mga pare. Bakit? Sabi ng mga pare, only man is created in the image of God. And therefore, he is the most important, numero uno, creation of God. And therefore, his abode, his place, must be the most important place in the universe. And therefore, it must be the center of the universe. Di ba? Bakit ngayon may problema? Kasi sabi ng simbahan, that's the reason why you throw anything into the sky. Alright, sandali ako, yan. Anything you throw into the sky will go back to Earth. Why? Because everything loves the Earth, which is the center, the home of the best creation of God, man. Alright? Everything loves the Earth. Totoo yan, ha? Hindi bola yan. Alright. So, balik tayo sa usapan natin. Eh, anong nangyari? Sabi nga ni Copernicus, sabi niya malabo yan. Bakit? Kasi pag tinitrace ko yung movement ng planets, nakikita ko meron silang behavior. Pag sinundan ko, sabi niya, eh hindi naman sa Earth umiikot. Sabi ni Copernicus. Sa estimate ko, kung itong Earth, itong Sun, pag tinitingnan ko yung movement ng planet, sabi niya, mukhang dun sa Sun umiikot. Alright? By the way, eto marami hindi nakakaalam. Yung mga geeks kagaya ko alam eh. By the way, si Copernicus, probably nabasa niya yung sinulat ng isang babae. Babae ha, very important. Ang pangalan ng babae si Hypatia or Hypatia. Si Hypatia, matalino, genius. Alam niyo ba, si Hypatia, siya nagsabi na there is such a thing as an ellipse. In fact, sabi niya, movement ng planets around the sun, o hindi pala around the sun, basta sabi niya, movement of planets is not circular. Kasi sabi ni Pythagoras, tsaka ni Ptolemy, circular daw eh. Sabi ni Hypatia, mali. Ang movement ng planets ay elliptical. Sabi nila, ano yung ellipse? Well, if you have an ellipse, if you have a cone, alright, if you have a cone, you slice it, what you get is an ellipse. Alright? That's an ellipse, sabi niya. Now, more importantly, sinasabi niya, maraming bagay tungkol sa movement ng planets. So, ang ginawa ni Copernicus, inobserbahan niya ang planets. Having observed the planets, he made his own estimate. Sabi niya, if the planets are moving the way I can see them, then I can only surmise that it is the sun that is the center of the movement of the planets. Ergo, mali ang simbahan. Yun ang catch. Mali ang simbahan, sabi ni Copernicus. Si Galileo, sabi niya, tama ito si Copernicus. Bakit? Kasi meron akong telescope. Sabi niya, with my telescope, sinilip ko yung isang planet. Anong planet? Jupiter. Sabi niya, nung tiningnan ko ang Jupiter, nakita ko, kung ito yung Jupiter, kitang-kita naman yun sa telescope, sabi niya, ang dami niyang moons. Yung moons ng Jupiter, sabi niya, umiikot around Jupiter. Hindi siya umiikot around the Earth. O, edi tama si Copernicus, the Earth cannot be the center of the solar system. Jupiter nga, may buwan, doon umiikot sa Jupiter eh. Among other things na nakita ni Galileo. Yan. Alright? Now, si Galileo at saka si Francis Bacon, they lived in the 1500s. Alright? Now, what's the 1500s? Remember, 1500s, sa urban centers, kagaya ng London, kung saan nakatira si Francis Bacon, at kagaya ng Florence, kung saan nakatira si Galileo, mababa ang tingin sa mga sinasabi ng mga pare. One, hindi na sila dependent kasi sa mga pare pagdating sa pera, kasi traders na sila. Two, liberal education. Nakita na nila, mali ang mga pare, mga bigots. Three, ano pa? Merong alternative centers of culture. Hindi lamang Rome ang magaling. Magaling din ang mga ibang cities, kagaya ng Florence at saka London. Ano pa? Sabi nga natin, may rise of nationalism. So, yung Englishman, sinasabi niya, hindi lang mga Italiano ang magagaling. And 5, yung discovery ng New Worlds. And then 6, printing press. Sa makatuwid, yung generation ni Galileo, pangkaraniwan na that priest can be wrong. Ayan. Parang mga Greeks, priests can be wrong. Lalo na, saan? Sa bayan ni Galileo. Bakit? Sa bayan ni Galileo, dyan nga nandyan si Machiavelli. At si Machiavelli, kaibigan ng mga prinsipe. Kaibigan ng hari. Si Machiavelli, yung sinulat niya, binabasa ng mga rulers of Florence. And point is, they all know, being progressive-minded, living in that city of Florence, that priest can be wrong. Okay. Ano ngayon? The geek na si Galileo, ito kasi ang nangyari. Nung panahon ni na Galileo, merong isang ang tawag Nuremberg egg. Cut the story short, yung Nuremberg egg is a portable clock. Nuremberg egg. Alright, Nuremberg egg. For the first time in the history of mankind, may isang contraption na handheld. Alright, handheld, you can bring it anywhere. Alright? Mobile. Mobile what? Mobile clock. Bakit? Yung mga clock na pangkaraniwan nung panahon ni Galileo, sinlaki ng bahay, nandun sa ibabaw ng mga tore ng mga simbahan. Alright? Kaso itong Nuremberg egg, sinlaki lang yan ng itlog. Well, actually itlog ng itlog ng ostrich. Pero mobile pa rin. Tuwan-tuwa si Galileo. Dahil siya nga ay geek, di ba? Tuwan-tuwa. So, dahil professor siya, may access siya doon sa Nuremberg egg ng kanilang university. So, pag may pagkakataon siya, lahat ng pwede niya orasan, inoorasan niya. Nakakita siya ng aso tumatakbo, orasan. Nakakita ng babae tumatakbo, naglalakad, inoorasan. Nakakita ng kabayo tumatakbo, inoorasan. Kung ano-ano, inoorasan. Sumimba si Galileo. Doon sa simbahan, bored doon sa pare. May nakitang lamp. Alright, may nakitang lamp. Well, actually, siguro hindi lamp. Mga lalagyan ng mga kandila. Alright, basta, anong nangyari? Yung nakita niyang contraption sa simbahan ay nagsuswing. Alright, supposing this is the lamp, nagsuswing siya. In the air. In the breeze with the wind. Alright? Nung nagsuswing, ang ginawa ni Galileo, inurasan. Pero hindi niya dala yung kanyang Nuremberg egg. Inurasan niya using his pulse. Kasi, alam niya na yung pulse natin ay halos 1 minute. In other words, ang pulse natin kasi ordinarily 66 beats per minute. So parang 60 seconds per minute. So anyway, si Galileo, inurasan niya yung movement noong lamp. Nung inurasan niya, nagulat siya kasi nakita niya yung rate or yung speed ng lamp. O rate na lang, sabihin natin rate. Binilang niya ang number of swings, alright? Binilang niya ang number of swings per minute. So rate. Meron siyang napansin kasi napansin niya whether ang swing ay ganong mahaba o ang swing ay ganong maiksi. Alright, long distance traveled, short distance traveled, napinsin niya pareho pa rin ang rate. Alright? So, nagsuswing yung pendulum, binilang niya yung number of swings per minute, nakita niya na whether isang dipa ang swing or isang dangkal ang swing, pareho lang yung rate. Sabi niya, parang puzzle sa akin yon. Kasi kung merong difference, dapat may difference din sa rate, hindi kaya? Anyway, so nung umuwi si Galileo, anong ginawa niya? Pagdating niya sa bahay, kumuha siya ng weight. Literally. At yung weight, kinabitan niya ng string. Tapos, in-experiment niya. Yun ang tawag natin ngayon, experiment. And sabi niya, tama eh. Ganun nga, kahit wide swing or narrow swing, pareho rin ng rate. Sabi niya, sabi niya, palitan ko kaya yung weight, gawin ko kayang malaking weight. Yun. Kasi, total, nandun na rin lang siya, di nag-eksperimento siya. Lalong naging problematic. Bakit? Yung malaking weight at maliit na weight ay pareho pa rin ang rate. Naloko na. 1 Pag long and short, alright, long, short, same. Second problem, big, weight, small weight, same. Sabi niya, puta na, ang labo nito. Naisipan ni Galileo tanggalan ng string. Nung tinanggalan ng string, yung malaking weight at maliit na weight, binitiwan. Nagulat siya. Shock of his life. Bakit? Kasi yung rate ng pagbagsak ng maliit na weight at rate ng pagbagsak ng malaking weight, pareho. So, hindi ko nagagawin yan sa atin, ha? Kasi kulang na ako ng oras, eh. Remember, sa klase ninyo, physics, pinag-aralan yan. Big weight, small weight, they have the same acceleration. Alright? 9.8 meters per second. Remember? Shock. Shock na shock si Galileo. Bakit? Kasi sabi ni Aristotle, at binabasa niya yan, sabi ni Aristotle, when two things have different properties, they should have different motion. So, you have here two things. One small, one big. According to Aristotle, they should have different forms of motion. When they take into motion, when they move, their motion will be different. Eh, ano nangyari? Pareho eh. Sabi ni Galileo, po tayo na, nagkakamali ba si Aristotle? Mahabo yan, sabi ni Galileo. Aristotle from 300 years BC to 1500s, everybody knows he's right. Parang sinabi mo, mali si Einstein, ang labo niyan. Parang sinabi mo, mali si Prof. De Villa, ang labo niyan, sabi ni Galileo. Something is wrong. So, ang ginawa ni Galileo, kumuha siya ng malaking weight, maliit na weight, pumunta sa Tower of Pisa, literally. Kasi mataas yung Tower of Pisa, sabi niya kasi masyadong mababa yung aking distance traveled by the falling bodies. So sabi niya, eto malaki, maliit, bibitiwan ko doon sa Tower of Pisa. And then I have somebody there watching if they will have the different motions. And true enough, sabi ni Galileo, yung kanyang observation ay they fall at the same rate, in the same way, with the same motion. So, lumalabas na mali si Aristotle. Naloko na. Parang, oh man, mali si Prof. De Villa, mali si Einstein, ang labo naman yan. So, eto ngayon si Galileo. Tinanong ni Galileo. Alright, Galileo asked, paano magkakamali ang isang taong kasing galing ni Aristotle? Bakit si Aristotle nagkamali? How could Aristotle have been wrong? That became a puzzle. And simple lang, sabi ni Galileo, si Aristotle nagkamali kasi ganito. Panahon ni Aristotle, sabi niya may dalawang klase ng reasoning. Babalikan natin yan pero ngayon pag-usapan natin. May dalawang klase ng reasoning. Deductive, inductive. Pinag-aralan nyo yan sa Pilo 1 at Pilo 11. Deductive, inductive. Yan. Ngayon, sabi ni Galileo, ito si Aristotle magaling. Bakit? Kasi sabi ni Galileo, ito si Aristotle nagawa niyang systematic, alright, systematic ang deductive reasoning. The result, Aristotelian logic. The result, Aristotelian logic. Di magaling. Alright? Na-invento niya. Ngayon, ang naging problema, sabi ni Galileo, ito. Ang naging problema, while Aristotle was able to systematize deductive reasoning, when it comes to inductive reasoning, reasoning from what? Reasoning from experience. Reasoning from what? Reasoning from observation. Anong sabi ni Aristotle? Well, inductive reasoning is reasoning from observation. Alright, what is reasoning from observation? Is reasoning from experience. Alright, what is reasoning from experience? Is reasoning from observation. Sabi ni Galileo, putang na, walang sinabi. In other words, sabi ni Galileo, hindi nagawa ni Aristotle na systematic ang inductive reasoning. So sabi ni Galileo, dapat ang gawin nating systematic. At sabi niya, dahil hindi ginawa ni Aristotle, di akong gagawa, ayan ang nangyari. Dahil ginawa ni Galileo ng systematic form ang inductive reasoning, na-invento therefore ang scientific method. Yan. Alright? Si Galileo, inventor ng scientific method. Alright? Galileo, invento niya yung scientific method. Nagkataon naman na without talking to him, without communicating with him, itong kanyang contemporary, sabay na sabay. Sino? Si Francis Bacon. Nabanggit ko na nga kanina. Doon naman sa London, sa England, also said the same thing as a lawyer. Kasi as a lawyer, importante ang reasoning, siyempre. At as a lawyer, nakita ni Francis Bacon, hindi nagawa ni Aristotle na systematic ang inductive reasoning. So sabi niya, gawin ko systematic. He, at the same time, in the same generation, wrote about it and came up with the same conclusion, gawa tayo ng scientific method. And there you go. Nagbago ang panahon. Bakit? Kasi in a manner of speaking, Galileo was criticizing the Greeks. Mga bulok kayo, hindi nyo ginawang systematic ang inductive reasoning. In a manner of speaking, Francis Bacon was also critical of the Greeks. Sabi niya, bulok kayong mga Greeks, hindi nyo inimbento yung systematic form of inductive reasoning. And that is what makes modern thinking radically different. From the point of view of Galileo and Francis Bacon, tama ang mga Greeks to demand that we believe that men can have control over our destinies independent of the gods and the deities, dependent on our capacity to reason. Kulang ang mga Greeks sa sinasabi. Ang pagkukulang, kailangan, sabi nila, gawin nating systematic ang inductive reasoning, ergo, the invention of the scientific method and therefore science. Ang problema, dadalawa lang sila. In the whole world, yung dalawa na yan, sila lamang ang naniniwala dyan sa scientific method. Dinagdagan pa na isa, si Thomas Hobbes. Other than the three, nagdagdag ng kaunti, si Descartes later, sino pa? Si Gassendi later, and then some others, a handful, but no more than a handful. And this small community, sila lamang ang naniniwala sa scientific method compared to everybody else in Europe and the whole world. Problema, papaano kumalat? Papaano kumalat? Alright? May kinalaman dun sa feudal system. Pero dahil kulang na ako ng oras, isasummarize ko lang na mabilis. Alright? Ano yung nangyari? Para kumalat yan, ito nangyari. Balik tayo sa Civil War sa England. Sa Civil War sa England, panahon ni Thomas Hobbes. Alright? Civil War. Alright? Si King Charles I, kalaban niya si Cromwell. Alright? Nag-away. Now, cut the story short, nanalo si Cromwell. Si King Charles I, pinugutan pa nga ng ulo later. Bottom line is, here is Cromwell establishing a society, pero pinatay niya yung monarch. And then now, the big question is, paano mo i-legitimize ang gobyerno mo? At the time na namumroblema si Oliver Cromwell, paano i-legitimize ang gobyerno? Merong isang intellectual, ang pangalan si Thomas Hobbes. Originally, si Thomas Hobbes galit si Cromwell. But in the last 7 years of his life, nakita niya, mahusay itong sinasabi ni Cromwell. Ni Thomas Hobbes. Ano ang sinabi ni Thomas Hobbes? Alright, sabi ni Thomas Hobbes, men are beasts. Why? Because that is our experience thanks to reasoning from experience. Remember, Thomas Hobbes naniniwala kay Galileo, Francis Bacon, reasoning from experience, induction, scientific method. What is it that we can say? From experience of civil war, we know that humans are beasts. Alright? Civil war, human experience, humans are beasts. They are at war with one another. They will kill each other, brothers and sisters, husbands and wives, alright, parents and children. However, they are beasts who can reason. Because they can reason from experience. And what is the experience? The experience is, according to Thomas Hobbes, under the terms of nature. In other words, what are the terms of nature? Matira, matibay. Under the laws of nature, from experience, we know that life is short and brutish. Yan ang experience ng civil war. Pagka walang law and order, life is short and brutish. Alright? That's what the laws of nature are all about. Matirang matibay, alright? So, gera. Men are constantly at war with one another under the laws of nature. There's constant war. Alright? That's what you get when laws of nature are in force. War. Life is short and brutish. That's your experience. So now what? Then, because humans can reason, then they can say in the future, therefore in the future, ano mangyari? Well, very simple. In the future, if we look from the past, we can say that we can see of the future if life is still under laws of nature, then life will be brutish and short. Life will be brutish and short. Very easy. No brainer. But then, because that's the future, we can prepare for it. And because we want to prepare for it, we say we don't want the laws of nature to be in charge. Because we don't want our lives to be brutish and short. So right now, what we do, we organize ourselves into societies. And we set out laws of men, constitution, whatever they are, just to make sure there is what? Peace and order. There you go. Ergo, you can now justify establishment. Alright, what we want? Peace and order. You can now establish a society on the basis of human capacity to reason without appeal to religion. And that is called social contract reasoning. With social contract reasoning, what are we saying? Because we know out of reasoning that if we live our lives under the laws of nature, life will be brutish and short. So we now rebel against such a future. We organize ourselves and we now set a society run by laws of men, constitutional societies. Kaya nagkaroon ng social contract theory. Nakita ngayon ni Cromwell, tayo na, ang galing nito I can now justify putting up a government independent of religion. And so, sabi ni Thomas Hobbes, tayo na, lahat kayong mga tauhan ko, mga sundalo, mga government personnel, basahin nyo to. Social contract theory na libro. Well, actually, yung pangalan ng libro, The Leviathan. Sabi ni Thomas Hobbes, basahin nyo yan. And, pag-aralan ninyo, ni-require niya yan, became an official document. Later on, si King Charles II, anak ni King Charles I na pinugutan ni Cromwell ng ulo, siya mismo, i-require din niya. Hoy, lahat kayo, pag-aralan niyo yung social contract theory para hindi na tayo nag-aaway-away. Kasi yung religion na yan nga pinagmulan ng lahat kaya napugutan ng ulo yung tatay ko. So, Cromwell, alright, Charles II, together, they made the social contract theory an official stand of the English society. And that gave us what we today call the Industrial Revolution. Naging liberal sila. Bakit? Kasi yung foundation ng social contract theory, hindi ko na lang pagkakataong ma-discuss yung details, ay liberalism. Alright? Industrial Revolution. Walang Industrial Revolution kung walang science. Walang science kung walang social contract theory. Bakit? Kasi social contract theory. Alright, let me put it this way. Dahil nagkaroon ng social contract theory, nawala yung away dahil sa religion. More importantly, part and parcel of the social contract theory is liberalism. Why? Because out of experience, we know that what? Alright, bakit naging liberalism? Remember, pinag-uusapan reasoning out of experience. It is necessary to be liberal. Why? Because some people are born in the hinterlands and they grow up there. Some people are born along the coastal areas and so they grow up there. They get to have different ideas about the world. And therefore, they will have different concepts of justice, different concepts of music, different concepts of love, different concepts of God and religion and evil and so on and so forth. In other words, thanks to Cromwell and King Charles II, nauso yung social contract theory, nauso ang liberalism. Habang sa Europe, yung mga mahilig sa science, ikinukulong at pinupugutan ng ulo. Example, si Bruno. Si Bruno, sinunog. Alive. Bakit? Because, sabi niya, tama si Copernicus, the earth is not the center of the universe. Nasunog. Si Galileo, ikinulong, life sentence. Bakit? Because he said what? The earth cannot be the center of the universe. Pero guess what? Sa England, yung mga mahilig magsabi ng ganyan, they became celebrities. They became celebrities. Like what? Of course, Isaac Newton. Like what? Brown of Brownian motion, Brownian movement, all right? And so, dahil sa liberalism, thanks to social contract theory, nagkaroon ng room for alternative thinking. Yung room for alternative thinking, that gave us science as we know it. That gave us science as we know it. Kasi while in Europe and in Asia and everywhere else in the world, there is no room for such individuals as Bruno and Galileo, in England meron. Kaya ang Industrial Revolution sa England lang nagsimula. Hindi sa Europe, hindi sa China, hindi sa India. Bakit? Kasi sa England, nawala yung aking net. Sa England, nagkaroon ng liberalism, nagkaroon ng social contract theory. Yan ang kwento natin. Yung pangyayari sa England, hindi malayo sa pangyayari saan? Sa Greece. Dahil sa Greece nagkaroon ng democracy, nagkaroon ng philosophy. Dahil sa England nagkaroon ng social contract theory and liberal democracy, nagkaroon ng Industrial Revolution and science. Everywhere else in the world, wala. And ano nangyari? Dahil may science, nagkaroon ng Industrial Revolution, nagkaroon ng steamships, nagkaroon ng factories. All right, machines that created cloth in matters of minutes. Whereas everywhere else in the world, humans making cloth, it takes them 6 months just to make 1 meter of cloth. In England, you can have bales of cloth made in matters of hours. And so lahat ng tao sa mundo, including all of China and all of India, bumibili ng damit, cloth sa England. They did not have to go to war. They had the best business in the world. Why? Because of their machines. Why? Because of their science. Why? Because of their liberalism. Why? Because of the social contract theory. By the time you know it, everybody in Europe naiinggit na sa England. By the time you know it, si Napoleon Bonaparte inggit na inggit sa England. And later, gumaya ang buong Europe minus Russia. And then later, pati Japan nadamay na. Pati nga tayo inggit na inggit. Alright? There you go. Ganyan ang pagkalat ng science sa mundo. Okay? Hindi hiwalay sa demokrasya. Hindi hiwalay sa liberalism. Democracy, philosophy. Social contract theory, science. They all go together. Alright? Even later, the invention of mathematical logic would not have been possible without the liberal mindset of Europeans, thanks to the social contract theory. Okay? So, naku, naubos ko na naman ang oras nyo. Magandang hapon po. I hope this is better than our last discussion. Kung may complaint kayo pakisabi na lang sa akin. I will read again. Like I said, isa-summarize ko. I will read your comments kung meron or complaints. But may survey na tayo, remember. So alam na natin kung sino yung pwede at hindi pwedeng sumama sa live YouTube at saka live StreamYard. So we can have better participation. Meanwhile, tiis kayo sa emails, tiis kayo sa chat sa YouTube, chat sa Google Classroom. Magandang hapon po, pasensya na. Salamat.